Meeting come to order. I'll do the prayer followed by the pledge of allegiance. Dear Lord, please guide this council in their decisions for the betterment of our borough. Pray for our sick and elderly and protect and keep safe our children, servicemen, police, and firefighters. In your name we pray, amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The purpose for this meeting is for the preliminary budget. It's a preliminary budget meeting. Yeah.
What I'd like to, can everybody hear me? I'm going to try to make it as, anybody has questions throughout the process, ask them if you have any questions, anything I say. We had the preliminary budget we passed a few weeks ago that showed putting in a trash fee, and also we had a deficit of $81,000. Now how that works is we just got our tax assessment rate from the county, and all the properties that pay taxes in Delaware County, it's $181 million. So what that means is our net mill, how we calculate what we collect the real estate taxes, is $181,000. And then you back off 2% for people that pay early, and you also put in a delinquency fee, 5 to 7% for people that don't pay. So our net mill, our millage right now is 9.15. So you times that by your net mill, let's say it's going to be 175. That gives you how much real estate taxes you're going to collect. Right now, it came in right about the same. Our assessments have been saying like this. Hopefully in the next couple of years, if some of these projects happen in these industrial parks, our assessment will go up. And what happens when that happens is our mill grows, so we don't need to raise taxes because our assessed properties are worth more, so our millage stays the same or goes down. Like some town, like a town like Radnor, their assessments might be $100 million, $200, $300, $400 million, but that's why the millage is low because they have a lot more businesses out there. Now the board has given me the charge that they don't want to raise taxes and they don't want to have a trash fee. So that's pretty much like gagging me and tying me up. So we have to find a way to do that. We got lucky. There's no tax increase. Our biggest expense is of course most towns, most businesses is your payroll and your health insurance benefits. We got lucky this year. We're in a trust. The council got in the trust a few years ago, and our health insurance, our vision insurance, and our prescription insurance and dental will stay the same this year. So that's a big help because that's normally going up 7-8% a year, and we pay sometimes $30,000 to $40,000 per man per lady. They're full benefits. They're all contract driven. So it's quite a bit of money. So not going up saves us a lot. And the biggest issue is, I believe we're the only town in Delaware County that doesn't collect the trash fee. I live in Aston. I pay $260 a year. It comes off my tax bill. And you guys get 2 pickups a week. You have no trash fee. So what happens is your real estate taxes are subsidizing your trash fee. Fees separate from taxes. At the end of the year, if you don't pay your taxes, it goes out to the county. You go to sheriff's sale, you can lose your house. Trash fee, if you don't pay at the end of the year, the borough comes after you because it's the fee. We can only, if we brought in $100,000 in trash fees, we can only spend $100,000 in trash expenses. Can't be used for anything else in the budget, but we don't have one here. The council doesn't want to enact one, so I have to find a way to cover. The way I have budget right now, we have trash expenses of $203,000 for 2019 coming up. That's your truck, maintenance, your employees that pick up the trash, and our recycling charge. And trash is going up, and also our dump charge. The county, we used to pay $33 a ton to dump. It's all waste. The county jumped to $53 a ton, so it's a huge jump. Recyclables, when they enacted this, besides helping the environment, we were also getting money, checks each month from the sale of recyclables. Well, that's stopped. We're actually now paying close to $60, $70 a ton, I believe, for recyclables. 52. Sometimes they're paying $100 for recyclables. That's why they're piling up everywhere. Nobody has the money to recycle anymore. So their costs we don't have any fees for, so that has to be paid through the taxes. Salaries, benefits, contract driven. Everybody got a 3% increase in the projected preliminary budget. And then our other biggest expenses are other insurance, our workers' comp, our property, our liability, and our property and our property and casualty. And that's another big, so that's going up 3%. Now we also pay for full-time officers that were either retired or went out on disability. We cover their benefits until Medicare kicks in and so forth, and then we pay a supplement. we have 7 or 8 guys out, we're paying $30-some thousand a year on each person, so that's a big chunk of change for your retirees. That's all contract driven, and they're in better plans than our current employees are, but they're grandfathered in, so we have to continue to pay those plans. And that's everywhere. The FOP has a pretty good contract. So that's another couple $100,000 that you're paying for now that was negotiated 30 years ago. We have $78,000 budget for recreation. We're going to try to go to that trust that has money in it to see if we can get some money out, if we can show what kind of programs that the borough is going to run for their youth. Hopefully we get reimbursed by some of that money from the trust. And then we have our debt. Our debt is when they built the firehouse, we got a $2.5 million loan there, and also we get a tax anticipation note every year at the beginning of the year to get us through the first 3 months. I pay that back by July, so I take a loan out for $350,000, 1/1, and then by June 30th I pay that back once the real estate taxes kick in, so I have some money. Now the best thing going on is we've had a lot of projects come in that the sale of, I guess is S-Chem the one that just sold for $15 million. Not S-Chem. Alliance. Fomex, I'm sorry. Fomex just sold for $15 million. So we got, when that sells, the transfer tax, you get 1% of the school district and the borough splits 1% of the sale. So we got $150,000, so we just got a check for $75,000 for just the transfer tax. Now they're talking a lot of jobs down there if everything keeps going according to plan, so that'll up our earned income tax, and as well as permit fees when they start building the thing. So there's a lot of irons on the fire, but me struggling as doing the budget is I can't guarantee that's going to happen, because I've heard it before. These projects are coming, and then something slips up. You know, the economy goes down, or they find a better spot. But these guys spent $15 million. It's just when they're going to put a shovel in the ground. So I can budget for that, but the problem is if it doesn't happen, then we're looking at a shortfall again. And that's the dilemma I have, trying to get this to balance where nobody pays any more tax or pays a trash fee. Now, do you have questions as we go along? Yes, sir.
Where are we making cuts at?
That's what we're going to talk about. I haven't said anything. Well, I don't have too much in here to cut, because if you wanted to cut something, you'd have to cut some equipment out, but there's not much to cut in here. Most of your salaries are contract driven, so you can't do anything with the police. And your highway and stuff, it's minimal cuts. There isn't like any, I wish I could tell you there's some fluff in here, like I have money stashed for surplus. I don't have it. So if you're going to cut, it's going to be minimal cuts. And
Like every department can make a cut?
They can, but I don't. It's not going to, a couple $1,000 here and there. My numbers, the expenses that each department incurs, I do a historical analysis on it. We go back 3 or 4 years and we do an averaging. Now, if we need a police car, I know what that's going to cost. I put that in there. But like your office supplies, your materials and expenses and stuff, I do a history of that over the last 5 years, and I stay right in those numbers.
Don't we get the car with a grant?
They may get a car with a grant this year. We'll discuss that, but not every year. And we try to rotate the police cars, because as we rotate and buy new ones, we pay less in repairs and maintenance.
How about Harrods? They're not helping us out anymore?
Who's that?
Harrods.
No, not I'm aware of. We should be getting more from them too.
They used to give us a police car. What happened
They
there?
should give us more than a police car.
I know, but they used to give us one. What happened there?
We didn't get anything from them last year, as far as I know.
Didn't get a car last year?
Yeah, we got a car, but we didn't get a.
Last year, not this year.
Yeah, not
Last year, not this year, yeah.
We didn't get anything from Harris the last 2 years.
How about the county? They're not helping us out through Harrods?
No, we didn't get anything from the county either. I haven't seen anything.
Have we talked to them about trying to get some funds from?
Well, you can talk to them, but
County?
this was supposed to be guaranteed. I don't know why it hasn't been coming through.
Right.
I
Has
think
anybody
they
talked to them and see why we're not getting the money?
Yeah, we could. That's absolutely one of the things we'll look at.
And why are we getting raises out?
The police one, how I did that was the police was already, the contract was
That's a
already set.
contract, I understand.
But you're talking another 6 or so employees, so we, historically in this borough, since I've been here, they've gotten the same raises as the police. And
No,
nobody's been,
that's not true.
well, okay, well then, but that can be talked about. I mean,
We have
nothing's,
no money.
nothing's that's in
It's like a
stone.
1% raise.
Well, we have money, it's just the point is that you hadn't raised taxes so long here. I mean, we raised them last year, but you haven't had no trash fee. So for the last 20 years, you've been paying $200,000-300,000 for trash expenses, and it keeps going up and up and up, and now it's getting ridiculous, the cost of dumping and the recyclables. You gotta offset that with your taxes. You have enough in taxes if you had a trash fee.
But
We
you
don't
can't
have
raise
that.
taxes and give raises out. I mean, come on, that's not.
Well, Like I said, this is a preliminary budget,
Right.
and I'll take all everybody's ideas, council's ideas, until we come to a final. And we have to have 3 or 4 more meetings, if council's, I'm here to go, that's why you get some different advice from people, it helps.
Yes, as the next corporate accountant, I want to know why the town hasn't been audited in several years.
Yeah, the town's been audited separately, we're about, the 16 audit's being finished up, and then the 17, it's a cash-based audit. And
Yeah,
then-
I understand, but we're in 2018.
Yeah, I know, it's a 17, 16's late, and 16's gonna be finished up now. And you can
When will
just-
they be done, so that I
Probably
can
the next
look at
few
them?
weeks, and then 17 will be done by the end of the year, and then 18's not due till April.
Okay, we are not allowed to collect any money from the state until these audits are done. And
Correct,
I
you
don't
get-
understand why they haven't been
116,
done in a timely
116's done,
fashion.
116's done, if we had any grants, we would get paid for that. It's my fault, they're not done, they have to be completed, Mr. Hannah's finishing them up.
Well,
It's not council's fault, that's
no
my fault.
offense, you shouldn't get paid until the town
Yeah, I
is
agree with you.
audited.
I agree
That's
with
the
you.
truth.
But he's finishing up 16, so if we have any grants, which we don't think we do right now, we'll get the money back.
Yeah, I know we lost the grant in the village, okay? There's a whole bunch of things that we've lost in this town.
No, we haven't lost any grants.
We haven't lost any
Lost any
grants.
Where, what about
First off,
the,
council didn't even want that grant in the village.
yeah, but why didn't they want it? Because the people in the village wanted it.
But we haven't lost anything, it's at our cap, we're still on there waiting to see if we'll get any money from the state. Everybody, there's a list of tons of people.
We can't even apply until
You
those
can't-
audits
no,
are done.
Absolutely not. You can apply and you can get, and grant you the grant, but they won't give you the money until the audit 16's done. Once 16's done, I've gotten grants before, and then they just need to see the audit. They just won't issue the money until, if you're not in
I live off a
compliance.
budget, I paid my bills on time, I don't understand why the town isn't audited on a regular basis on time.
What is, okay, that's fine, it's your opinion, but it'll be caught up, and 16, we're on top of that right now.
What about the DCED
That's the
requirements?
same thing.
They
that's
require
the-
that you file a report with them once every
Yeah,
year.
that's the audit. The DCD is the audit. It's
No, the DCED is an audit report. The audit cannot be done until you have the books prepared for
No,
the
no, no.
outside
It's a-
auditor who comes in. And
No,
that's
no,
been the delay, has
the
been that you
DCD
haven't had the books
auditor
ready.
prepares a DCD report, it's the audit. They give their opinion on it, and they file with the DCD.
If we're so broke for money though, I don't understand why we're raising the trash fee and we're charging more in taxes and we don't have any money. And we haven't even done the audit so that we can get any state money.
We haven't done the audit for
You're not gonna state money to
2016.
balance the budget, you get grants, you have to match it. Grants are extra stuff, you wanna do extra stuff in the borough, we have to match, most of them are matching. You got a recycling grant a few years ago, we got that, what was it, $9,000 you got? You got the truck.
We get that every year, the grant, then we got a
Yeah,
truck
we
for, we
filed
got
for
a
this year.
grant for $155.
The audit's not, you're not losing any money, you can't get any state money to balance the budget. We can get, you wanna fix your parks up, you wanna add stuff like that, we'll have to match it, so that's to be budgeted anyway. There's no state money out there to balance anybody's budget. And the DCD reports are used by DCD to get information. They review them to see how towns compare and so forth, based on what they're spending on different accounts. The auditor prepares the DCD report, he files it, and he gives us the financial statements.
So you're saying that Eddystone as a borough is not required to file an annual audit report with the
No, I didn't say that at all.
Community.
I didn't say it at all, I said DC.
Well, you just said that the
you have to
auditor
file a
files that.
DCD report and an annual audit, that is the audit, the DCD report. It's filed every year by the audit, we're a year behind, 2 years behind.
Why are we
16's
2 years
up.
behind?
Because I told you, it's my fault, I fell behind in it.
Well, is that
Why
all
are
you can
you getting
say?
paid then? In all honesty,
it's
why are
your
you
fault.
getting
I know
paid?
this is the big thing, the audits aren't causing any problems, 16's done, it's not costing us any money.
When were the 2014 and 2015
2
audits
years
done?
ago.
In
Yeah, who's in charge
2000?
then? Bill Stewart, right?
Who was on council? You.
Mr. Ross,
You can't
got
blame
one
every-
on
Council?
Excuse me.
Look, Len, order,
No, no, no.
Joe, continue on.
Oh, there we
Stop with the
go.
names,
There we
stop with
go.
the names.
Okay, well, the audits, it's not
can't just
council's
answer the
fault.
question.
Sorry, we didn't finish,
I have a
but
question.
I'm answering it. It doesn't cost you any, it's not costing us money. It's not costing us money.
We could get state money, I know that for a fact, if
No, you
our
can't.
audits were done to
DCED
help us in
grants.
this town and with things that are going on in this town
You
that
can,
we.
apply, you can still get state grants, they won't release the money, you can get the grant once
Yeah,
you
well,
But
good,
you're not gonna
what
get
is
any-
good is getting the grant if
We
they
can't,
don't release the
order,
money?
go.
we don't have money to match the grant. We're not getting any grant to balance the budget. They're not gonna give us money to balance our budget. Like I said, there's recreational grants, there's fire grants, there's everything else. We have to match them, and we don't have the money to match. We can apply for as many grants as we want. If we get them, we're on the RCAP grant for this building And also for the bills you're just talking about, we're waiting on our code to see if the governor.
I know if I
really
didn't
signed.
do my job, I wouldn't get paid.
Yeah,
That's the
well,
bottom line.
I'm doing my job, so I'm doing my job, keeping this borough
Yeah,
afloat.
well, Joe does pay himself last, just so you know.
So-
Go ahead, you got a question, hon?
I have, when you kept saying that, you're doing it, are you the only one doing these budgets, audits? Are you,
My
or do you
company,
have
I-
help,
I'm
like
the-
from everybody?
Well, I get from the department heads, they give me their wish lists and stuff, it's the same
Okay.
budget process in the company.
But you're the only one
Well,
really handling
it's
all
my
that?
company, I manage the budget, and I do prepare the budget each year, and then council votes on it. Each month when bills are paid, council votes on them. We do the financial work here and the administrative work.
How many towns do you do?
Yeah, how many towns do you do that do not have their budgets done, that their
Their budgets
audits
are-
done?
Their audits are
I think
behind.
this one and one other town we're behind in,
I doubt that.
so, yeah.
Not
Five,
according to the DCED.
But that's,
five.
it's not even updated, that's what I'm telling you, the 5, 10, you wanna take shots at me, Mr. Wilson, take your shots.
I'm taking my shot. I
It's fine. It has nothing to
contacted,
do with the budget, it has nothing to do with the budget. It's a
I
budget
understand that, but there are 5 towns that you work for that have
No,
not
it's
been
not.
done, and I
It's
just
absolutely
don't
not.
understand why you're
Yeah,
getting
move
not
on.
done.
Joe, move on, don't argue with the
Parkside is done.
Parkside Town, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
because they were denied a grant and you did their budget and you
Move on,
didn't do
Mr.
ours.
Wilson, you're out of order.
Yeah, it's a
Move
waste
on,
of
Joe.
time. Any other questions?
Parkside's getting a grant.
Ed,
Grants are
Ed, if this keeps up under
I've been doing this for
code
20, I've
section
been doing this for 20
508, I
years.
want to remove.
20 years I've been doing this.
He's just a citizen.
Shut up.
He's taking
Right.
shots.
You
Right.
don't like it, you're tough. Don't be on the board. Don't be on the council.
Tell us again, Karen. I didn't quite get that. Did you say shut up?
I said quiet. Excuse me.
Excuse you.
I mean, if we we balance the budget and no trash fee, we're in the same way we were last year, we're still gonna have no surplus. There's no surplus cash, so if anything happens, we don't have any surplus cash. So that's the problem we have, it's a zero-sum budget, so whatever we bring in goes out. But if a building collapses, street sinkhole stays in, we can't pay for that. We won't have that surplus money. And I gotta make sure I meet payroll and the benefits, and that's pretty much the dilemma we have, and you're not the only town like that. I mean, other towns can get loans, like City of Chester can get loans and stuff and run deficits. Federal government's running billion-dollar deficits, but they don't have to balance their budget. We're required by law to balance ours. Point is, there's no surplus cash. The county today, if you saw the paper, wants to roll back their taxes. They have $54 million in surplus. So they can pull from that surplus and give back $25 a household. Radnor just is gonna raise taxes. They have huge surplus. They don't wanna pull from their surplus. Clifton Heights just raised their taxes a mill, because they have no surplus either.
Have you taken into consideration the redistricting that's going to be done in the town? Because as I've seen, the town is paying about 125% more than what's going to be due in the new redistricting.
The
Is that
reassessment.
the reassessment? I'm sorry, the reassessment. And I question whether you have budgeted that into.
When you say it's gonna go up, the reassessment?
No, it's going to go down.
We base it, our millage is based strictly on what the county gives us this November 15th, and they give us the ones that are reassessed. It works on that number. If we get a new number from the reassessment, it'll come out annually. We won't get it mid-year and have to adjust our millage.
I understand that. It's being redone.
Yeah, and our millage is going down, so I'm pretty cautious with the millage. Like I said, the county gives us the number of all these assessed properties, then we work out a net mill, and then we back up to 2% for people who pay early, and then we work a delinquency fee. That's our net mill, times that by the 9.15 mills that you charge, that's your real estate tax.
Right,
And then
I
what will happen
understand.
next year, if it goes down, our mills will go down again, and we won't gain so much money. If it goes up with all these projects, well, then we'll benefit from that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us what's going on with the EMS in your budget?
Nothing. I haven't done anything with the budget either. I budgeted $100-some thousand in salaries. I still got there's a loan in there for the fire truck. That's the fire truck, EMS. But the salaries are all in there. The FICA match is in there. I haven't touched anything. I know there's
Okay.
a
Are we
discussion
still
about
gonna
it.
have an EMS
That's
after
not my.
January 1st?
That's not my charge.
Can I make a statement here, Joe? Yeah, let her make a statement.
Please.
Okay, so, I know that these letters went out, and they were put in mailboxes, which is a federal offense. Mine was in my
Yeah,
door.
yeah. Get me on that.
Mailbox.
The paid staff, mailbox, yep, paid staff was not eliminated. The fire company owns the ambulance, not the borough. The fire company owns the ambulance. We're staffing 2 guys, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the fire company retains all the billing rates. all the
You
billing can
didn't
come.
cancel second shift and third shift and just kept first shift?
There was
till the end
no,
of the
there
year?
was no third shift, Kathy, nobody, they don't even volunteer, nobody even comes out to volunteer to go, we have more
That's
scratches.
special, right? Because my son is on that ambulance all the time, and he does not get paid.
That's right.
So you do have volunteers that run down there constantly.
Okay, can I finish explaining now? Okay, so this left 11 PM to 7 AM uncovered, resulting in a need for mutual aid. At the cost of $171,000, which is what's budgeted, correct, Joe?
Yeah, it's $170-some thousand. I'll
Okay.
give you the exact amount.
All right, nothing was eliminated here, it's a restructure. The borough is no longer paying the EMTs.
Why?
The EMTs are going to be picked up by the fire company. The fire company who owns the ambulance is going to take over the EMTs.
Who's paying for it?
The fire company. They're the
Where's
ones
paying
that
the
get-
fire
they get
department?
They get the billing. Well, wait a minute. The borough is going to donate $80,000, which is going to cover a shift from two guys, 7 AM to 5 PM. They're going to get $20,000 quarterly, and they're also going to be given a stipend, which will be $2,400 for the first year, to help offset their accounting fees, to get everything set up.
Okay, my question to you is, did you tell them that the council will no longer be in business with the EMS service?
What we told them was that the fire company is taking them over. The fire company.
How are you
they're-
telling the fire company they're taking over?
We met with the fire company, Kath. This
They
was
were
all
here?
here. They were here before the guys came in last week. We met with the fire company.
Is this a union busting
I have no idea
situation?
what you're talking about.
I know that they wanted to join a union, and I heard that this was because they did not want to join a union.
I have no knowledge of a union whatsoever. Have we ever been notified of a union, Tim? No. So this is the first I'm hearing of that. Yes.
What's your reasoning?
What's our reasoning?
Yes.
Well, we're putting out an awful lot of money,
Okay.
all right? I don't think that we're getting the coverage.
Good.
You have, wait a minute, you have people that, when you call Dave, when you come in and you put in your time for a shift,
Yes.
okay? Okay, I'm gonna work 7A to 5P. And then the company, you're working a full-time job. Now, you've already committed to this shift, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so your other job comes in and says, oh, well, you can work overtime. This shift goes unfilled for the fire company because whoever goes and works for the company that they're working for, full-time.
Okay.
So you have a shift that's uncovered. You have
Wouldn't it
one
be-
man working.
Wouldn't it be better to hire more people?
That's gonna be up to the fire
Question
company.
for you, did you go to the fire department and ask for money?
Did we go to the fire
Or
department?
if they were understaffed? Did you ask them that?
No.
Did you ask the
You
fire
can
I
department for
emailed
money?
you to meet you.
Why have
No,
they
I-
taken
we
an
did. I
extra
set up a
shift
meeting.
at their
No,
job
no.
if they're committed to working?
That's fine, and they're gonna be
Oh.
taking over, you're still gonna have EMT service.
No, I
It's gonna be
understand,
taken
but why
over
would
by
they
the
take-
fire company.
Why would they take another extra shift from their regular job if they've committed to working?
Well,
They shouldn't be allowed.
Because they would get,
Did you ask the fire
original job, they
department for
get
money?
paid more, so it makes
Did
sense.
you ask the fire department for money?
Did we ask the fire department? for money?
Yes. Or the ambulance service, did you ask the ambulance service for money?
No,
You never asked the ambulance service for money.
a long time ago.
Was that like 2 months ago?
They used to
That wasn't
pay,
2 months ago you asked for money?
I don't recall, Dave. What did I ask for money for?
I'm asking you. I mean, I'm hearing
Well,
from,
go ahead.
did you ask for money?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did the fire department come back and tell you they were gonna give you money? To help?
No,
No, because you cut us off, right? You told us you're out of the EMS business, right?
we didn't say you're not out of the EMS business.
You're
There
out.
go.
Yes, you did.
Last week,
So before we
with the
even
fire
told
department.
us our
is what I said.
ideas, you said you were out of the EMS business, correct?
Yeah.
No, you're gonna be restructured into the fire company. The fire company is
A
going to
volunteer
take
fire
over.
department is now gonna be employers. A volunteer fire department.
Where are they getting that money from? Like, where's the fire?
They get all the
department?
billing. They get all the billing from
So-
the
Okay,
ambulance.
so the $60 per transport, if you get that at all from Medicare and Keystone. So, I mean, I don't understand after all these years, I've lived in the town since 1988. So I don't understand why all of a sudden,
I'll
you're not.
explain it to you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
2017,
Yes,
the budget was budgeted for one shift,
okay.
2 guys, okay? Was it June, I believe? June to October, something like that, Karen, June to October, the
It
fire
was,
company said they were to start second shift.
April to October.
April to October, fire company wanted a second shift. They agreed to pay the borough the money to provide a second shift. Borough did a second shift. Today, the borough still has not seen the money from the fire company for that second shift. The borough continued to pay for that second shift. Even though we never got the money, it was a trial thing, they continued to do it. It wasn't even in the budget. Then they added the Sunday, which added an additional $30,000 to the budget, which again was not part of the original budget or anything. So that's how you got to $170,000 in 1 year for EMT service.
Well, who
Which used to
approved
be,
that?
are you gonna let me finish?
Who approved
Let-
that
let-
30,000?
Yeah, who
Let
approved
me
that?
finish and I'll be more than happy, you might get my answer. The original budget was about $75,000, okay? So we went from $75,000 to $170,000, okay? Now, the Borough Council is not in charge of EMTs. We write a check. That does not make them our employees. There is plenty of case that does not make them our employees. They work for the fire company. They work on the fire company's ambulance, okay? They follow the rules of the fire company. All we're doing is saying, they're your employees, they work for you, you pay them, we'll give you a stipend, okay? They collect all of the invoicing for all of the ambulance. In other words, if you have somebody, I know everybody in the residence, if you pay for, you donate to the fire company, you're supposed to get free ambulance service, okay? But, so they don't make a whole lot of money off of a resident that might need an ambulance service if you donate. And if your insurance company doesn't give them very much money, they also don't make much money. But you also have a lot of businesses. So in the businesses, when you're required an ambulance service, they're supposed to bill that person's insurance company. If that person doesn't pay the whole insurance, it's up to them to go through collections. The problem with the whole thing is, as borough, and we're paying out this check, we don't see the invoices. We don't see any of that money. All we do is continue to put out money. And now that money we're putting out is all your taxpayers' money.
Yeah, but
I'm
why
not
aren't
finished.
you seeing
Will you
it?
please let me finish? When I'm done, I'll take any question you ask, but let me finish.
I just have a statement though.
But let me finish. Can you let me finish? Hold it.
Okay.
Believe me, I'll let you
Okay.
talk. So, now, if we don't see their books, they won't let us look to see what kind of income they bring in. They won't let us have it audited. So, we have no idea whether or not they got hundreds of thousands of dollars or they got $1. We have no idea. Please, wait.
I got a question.
Why not? Why not? Why can't we see those books? You could require that as giving them money, as a requirement of giving them money, that you see their books.
Well, I'd love to have them audited.
in
We've even
charge
got
of
a
the
price to
fire
have them
company?
audited.
You don't have your own
We're not
books
able
audited.
to
No,
audit them.
because I know that like as a town, you have to have,
Your own
you know, the
audits.
police department, you have a chief, you have a chief of the fire company.
Here's what you don't
Who is the
realize is,
one-
okay, here's
I
what you
was in
don't-
the fire service for 21 years.
Here's what you don't
so
realize
I'm
is-
trying to ask, who's in charge of the fire company? Who is the one, who is the chief, the captain, the head person
Right.
that you
Not
go
anybody
to,
that's up here.
Like, so who is in charge of the fire company?
I got another
As a
question.
town, as a borough, as
Yeah.
whatever, you know who's in charge of the police?
Yeah,
Who's in charge of the fire company?
yeah.
The board.
Okay, so as the board, now, are you
Not
the board?
No,
Is this-
none of us.
So who is the board?
Fire company.
So they don't come to these meetings, the board?
We can't make them come to a meeting.
If you give them money, you can
Bill.
request them and make them come. Otherwise, you say we will withhold your money until we
And
see
then,
your
you know what?
books.
You're here screaming at us because we cut out the EMTs because we held their money.
Who's screaming?
Bill,
Who's screaming?
question.
Okay.
You're saying that Borough Council only writes a check. They
Only writes
have
the check.
nothing else to do with
No, we have nothing
EMS.
else to do.
That's
Okay.
ridiculous.
Recently, there was an investigation. Who paid for that? Did the fire department pay for it or the council?
Nobody's paid for it yet.
Who is paying for it?
Who's
Who
liable?
hired
Going
them?
to.
I don't know, it's not paid
Who
for.
hired them?
Who's-
I don't know,
hired
I don't have that information because I wasn't on council at the
Okay,
time.
anybody else?
Well, then ask
have
somebody who
information?
was on council.
Mr. Signet, do you know the answer to
I
that?
wasn't here when
Beth?
I didn't come in until January.
The question is, there was an investigation. Beth, listen to me for a minute. There was an investigation. Who hired the investigators to do an investigation at the firehouse? Council. Okay,
Well,
so how are you gonna tell the residents you have nothing to do with the EMS service, but yet when there's a problem, you're gonna hire
Okay.
an investigator?
Somebody from the EMTs. There you
no,
go.
no.
Who do you report to every day? Who's your boss? Who's your boss?
I got hired by the borough.
Who's your boss? Who in the borough hired
Fire
you?
marshal.
Fire chief and council is my boss. That's what I always
The
thought.
fire chief's your boss?
Fire
So,
marshal.
when you,
And the
when the
council's
fire
your
marshal's your boss?
We
Okay,
were-
when you call off sick and you don't show up or you don't, you
That
don't-
has nothing to do
Yeah,
with the
that's-
line of
asking a
reporting.
question.
Bill,
That has nothing to do with the line of
You're wondering who's in
reporting.
charge.
The police chief was in charge, okay?
You guys
Just recently, the
hired him.
police chief
The
was in
police
charge.
chief is not in charge. He's
Just
not in charge.
Bill, you've been on council 2 months.
Right, and I understand what's
Listen to
going
the
on.
guys that know
The police,
Order.
Ed, you in charge?
President, no, I was doing payroll and schedule.
That's
Payroll is good.
That doesn't make him in charge.
Borough employees. When we called,
He asked who he reported to.
we called Ed when we called out.
We only
Listen,
use-
I'm not a member of the fire company. Who's my employer then? The Borough of Eddystone. I've worked here for 13 years.
Yeah.
Just because you got a check does not make us.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You stand it if you haven't been on the council.
Under the Garcia Act, you can't work and volunteer for the same company.
And I don't. I
I'm
don't.
working for you guys, providing a service. Our check said Borough of Eddystone, not Eddystone
Well,
Fire
pretty soon they're
Company.
gonna say fire company.
Well, if you're giving them money, then require that you audit it.
Borough this month,
Karen,
maybe we
didn't
need
you
a little
just
help
tell
on
Channel
trash pickup
6
because they were taking a little long
nothing's
today
happening
since you're a
with
borough
EMS, that
employee.
yous aren't
They
doing
would get you out there
anything?
to
We
pick
are,
up
we're
trash.
giving you $80,000 so you don't have to cut coverage.
You know that they
Then
can sustain
require to
Because
know
you said
this.
we don't make money off the residents. So how do you know they?
I don't know
keep
what
it
you,
running?
I don't know what the fire company makes because they won't let us see the books.
Why
Could
should
you
they?
ask
You
them?
have nothing to
Yes,
do with
yes,
them.
yes, I did ask to see
When
the
he
books.
came and asked for money?
I,
When
no,
he came and asked for money?
I asked to see the books, you know what I was told? It's none of your business.
When he came
Who
and asked
told you that?
Fire company.
Who told? No, not a fire company. What was the person that told you was none of your business?
Money that we
board.
get paid for?
No, not the board. There was a person who told you that.
The board of the fire
told
company
it?
unanimously said you
But
don't get to
I'm
see the
saying
books.
the board didn't tell you. Who was the person who told you was none of your business?
The board.
Name it, the person.
Have a name, it's the board.
How much is this advertising?
It's a grant.
Person told him.
You had 450 ambulance calls. How are you gonna do away with EMS?
And 113 scratches.
It should be more.
Because it's volunteer then.
Yeah.
You should be paying for 24-hour coverage.
Yep.
Okay, everybody wanna,
I really don't
raise
have
their
a
taxes to
question.
$450
I have a
a
statement, I
household?
don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Kathy.
Okay, so you just said there was 450 calls,
Over
right?
450
113, you said
calls for this
scratches,
day.
right? Okay, well, my father,
That's not including the CRS.
blah, 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 blah. You had your chance and you yelled at everybody, so now it's my turn. That EMS, that fire company, okay, you have a gavel, and you can gladly do that, because I don't think that's fair, that you're allowing us to be here, the public, and you told someone to shut up, I don't know you, I'm so sorry.
I apologize. I
Okay,
apologize for that.
but I
I
don't
apologize.
think that that's what everybody is upset about. Rumor mill out there, we don't know if it's true, we don't know if it's not true.
We never
But I
told.
also know that there is a need for that ambulance. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you as an EMS provider should know that if that ambulance doesn't get out, people are, oh wait, excuse me? Excuse
I said,
me?
oh my God, I said, we just said that we're giving them $80,000.
But what I don't understand is nobody can tell me who's in charge. Like, I know that you are the
That's fair, but
councilwoman.
it's in the budget.
Okay, what is his name? So this
It's
way
gonna
we
be,
can.
I guess it's gonna be, Andy's gonna be the one in charge now, the fire
And who's
chief.
Andy? Is he the fire chief?
What's the
Okay,
last
so
name?
why isn't he at this meeting when this was
Because
mainly
he's working.
working just like everybody else works, right?
It was a budget meeting, it wasn't an EMT
I
meeting.
understand that, but we, the public, needed to be here because we don't know what the hell's going on. Whether we rent, whether we're taxpayers, whether we're just, I don't know, friends of friends. This is ridiculous. And if the
You're
budget,
not
I
losing.
understand,
You're
is
not
a big
losing.
deal. I do it at work, so I understand. And you know, some people, you know, with the taxes and everything else. But the whole thing is, if the borough took on that responsibility as a trial, you said $75,000, it's a trial. So then you realize in what, a year, I guess? I think you said a year.
That's not working.
What isn't working? Is it because
That's somebody
getting 50%.
2 months on council that's
50%
saying.
of the
Is it
time.
because of the, like, what I'm asking is, okay, you budgeted out at 75, it rounded up to be 170 for this year, for 1 year,
Right.
right? Because
Yep.
I'm trying to understand.
Yes.
So if it was a trial, you have to allow for that, right?
No, we don't have to allow for it, we did it, but.
But do you see that there is a need for 450 calls, whether there are scratches or not?
Let me explain it
You
another
know
way
what
to
I
you.
mean? Like,
170,000 was 50% of a two shifts. In other
so
words,
there was a need for the weekend, because I think that's,
no,
is that why
what I'm
they
saying is the
added
ambulance went
those
out
shifts?
50% of the time out of 2 shifts.
Okay,
Because either somebody called off,
okay,
somebody showed up and then left early. There
okay.
could be all kinds of reasons.
Why?
Edwin
There's
knows-
no
accountability.
early.
No,
if
there's
we
no
Okay,
have
so
a
why
job
doesn't,
there.
so since you already took responsibility, I mean, and honestly, I don't know if it's true, but you're taking responsibility to give it completely to the fire department. Why doesn't somebody work together and say, hey, it cost 170,000, we only have 75 to work with, let's kind of find a compromise.
Can I ask
Like,
you a question?
Yeah,
What's the big deal whether the Eddystone Fire Department?
because my dad would have been dead if we had to wait for Tinicum, takes
No,
9
no,
minutes to
no.
get, no, no.
You don't understand. You're gonna have ambulance service.
Yeah, volunteer, they just gonna come during the day?
No.
Okay,
Not at
so
all.
are they gonna be at the peak times at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when everybody's playing
They're going to
bumper
be.
cars on Chester Pike?
No,
Because
If I call off from work, I have to get somebody to take my shift.
How many shifts do we have?
Why are there nobody there?
On the financial end of it,
Yeah.
Not an
we
elected
budgeted
official.
170,000, they
Responsibility
reimbursed
to
us
run the
85.
EMT service.
Now what we're doing is they don't.
If you're paying
reimburse us,
employees to
we give
do
them-
it,
Yeah.
it's his
As you
responsibility.
are.
That's the only- it should be a wash, 6 in one, half a dozen the other. It's not gonna- They're not pulling any
If they're
extra
borough
money out.
employees,
They're just gonna take care
it's
of
the
their
borough's
schedule and their payroll.
responsibility.
Absolutely.
And we're just gonna give them 20,000 a quarter instead of paying all the salaries at 172 and get reimbursed 50% of that.
So you're gonna like
It's
split the
it's like a
difference?
wash, yeah.
Right,
They're just
exactly.
handling it. It's like
Okay.
they're
We're
handling
working,
it.
we're working
That's
with
how
the
I'm
fire
doing it.
company to
And
try
my
to
only
make this
question is,
work.
I just, you know, I just wanted to understand, because again,
Right.
I've never been to these, I came because I think that there is a need for a paid crew.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
we're working with the fire company to try to make this happen.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, if they're not here, to me, I think that that's a problem. If I don't show up for something that I think is important for my town, that's a problem. For them not showing up here, they could send a representative.
This
Because
was a
I'm sure if
public-
Ed wasn't here,
This is a
there's
It's a
budget
budget meeting.
But do you understand the public doesn't give 2 rats
Yeah, right,
about the
but-
budget?
It's our
They
money.
care about.
We're talking
This
about
is
the
budget.
budget.
You have a job.
It is,
But
and this is budget meeting.
this is the only
This is a
time that it's
budget.
public that people were concerned about losing a service in the town that they pay for. You know what I mean? And
You're
it's
not
a
losing
big
service.
deal, but we are, but we're
You're not
really going
losing the
to.
service.
How can you pay half as much and not cut the
How are you
service?
cutting service?
Let me explain something to you. 170,000, and I told you you got 50% for
Yeah.
2 shifts? Okay. Somebody back there like us to do 24 hours, 7 days a week, which would be great. But,
Which is what
let's
we
see, if
have.
we spend 170 for actually, if you get 50%, that's really 1 shift that was covered. That means now you gotta cover 2 more shifts, that's 3 times
What's this
170,000.
50%? What's this 50%?
Yeah, what
50%? Hey, how many times the ambulance get out in October?
I can't really answer it. Andy gave numbers last time.
No, that was different.
Are you
What-
talking
what
about
shifts were
50% of the
covered?
money?
Scratches?
What was the percentage of the shift covered for October?
I don't have that in front of me.
I just don't understand, if somebody calls out and they have to go to their other job, then they find somebody to cover their shift. Why is it that they're not there? Because if I left my shift, I would have to find somebody to cover it.
Ask them, we don't know why.
Yeah, we don't know why.
There's somebody else back there that had a
There's
question.
3 life members of Eddystone Fire Company sitting up there, right?
Right.
3 life members.
And you didn't see this comment?
No, but I
No, you don't tell us anything.
You didn't stay.
We weren't paid.
You didn't see this comment.
No, you don't tell us
2 shifts.
anything.
Certainly it didn't work.
You come to a
In
meeting.
the 2 shifts, there was
This is the first
18
meeting I've ever
calls
seen.
during that 2 shifts. There was a total of 26 calls and there was a total of 14 that were transported.
Yeah, because they
So?
refusal.
Yeah, the other ones refused.
You have no idea what you're looking at.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, dear.
Well, there's-
Go back to school.
There's 3 cancels,
How do you think the fire company makes
3
the
scratches.
fire gear?
So there was 3
There was
scratches
3 scratches.
for the month.
So,
Does the borough pay for fire gear?
No.
No, so the fire company does. What do you think a set of fire gear costs?
Big money.
About $5,000 to $7,000 each. So to fit me, full of fire gear, not including air pack, and air pack's another $7,000, the fire company pays for that. How do you think we pay for that? With the ambulance billing?
We get,
Yeah, you get
what I have,
relief
what I
money
have,
from the
what I have budgeted.
Not in the last couple of years.
You get relief money every year, Terry, from the state.
You guys don't give us $12,500
Am I
anymore.
correct?
Yeah, you get a relief check, it's not a large amount, 17 grand, 18 grand, you get a relief check, that helps. That
When
comes
did you guys,
comes to
can
us.
I ask when you came to the fire department and asked for the $80,000?
What's that?
When did you come to the fire department and ask for the $80,000? Half the money.
We had a discussion with the fire company
How
last
long ago?
week.
And the president
4
told
weeks
you
before
they
that.
couldn't
Yeah,
do
4
it.
weeks before that.
And 4
Yeah,
weeks
They wouldn't
before that.
survive. The president told you they couldn't survive.
right.
But how do we know that? We didn't see their
So
books.
this, you keep saying it's a budget meeting, but you're
We
taking
had-
that budget out.
Yeah, have we
Of the
seen their
EMS.
buildings? Have we seen their books?
Are you-
All they do is say.
Are we still not employees of the borough? Because you laid us off the other day. If we weren't borough employees,
Wait a minute.
why did you lay us
Wait a
off?
minute. Last time I checked, there's guys being paid all this month. Where you get laid off last
January
week?
1st.
We
You
were
said
told
we're
at
laid
last
off.
week's meeting, you were cutting all ties, exact words.
We were cutting-
all ties with you. You're laid
We are
off.
no longer going to pay the check out that the fire company does. You're
You
just
just
getting a
said
check
you
from the
were
fire
working for the fire
company instead of
department.
Eddystone.
I got a check from the Borough of Eddystone, it doesn't say anything about the fire department. My check says Borough of Eddystone.
Basically,
No, you have not.
yes, we have.
Yeah, and the second time you met with us, you cut us off and told us you're done with the EMT service. That's not working with us.
Why did I have to take a mandatory sexual harassment training from the Eddystone Borough?
Right.
You guys aren't in my
I've lived in this
floor.
neighborhood for 20 years.
That's a good question.
But he
And
has
I'm
a
totally
question.
confused by this. I can't hear.
These firemen say that they're getting a check from the Borough of Eddystone. That makes them the borough's employee.
Yes, it
And now
does.
you're saying as of January 1st,
It does not.
you're
Yes, it
liable
does.
for
Yes,
that.
it does. Check your
Wait,
case law.
let her talk.
See them as a borough employee.
How can you lay off somebody who's
But wait
not
a
your
minute, can I
employee?
finish what I was saying?
I don't give legal
So
advice
you were-
to council except in this session. But
If the Borough of Eddystone was writing the checks, and now you're saying the fire department, you're outsourcing them.
Can you repeat that?
You're just outsourcing them.
Giving it to the fire.
Sandy, can you repeat what you said? Too many people were talking.
I'm sorry, sure. I said, I am counsel for the Borough of Eddystone. I'm not your individual counsel. So what I said to Mr. Bolton is that I'd be happy to talk to them in E-session and give them legal advice. But you can be assured that they ask legal advice every time they make a move here. So
Well, in your
Presume that you
legal
can't-
opinion, are the firemen employees of Eddystone?
If the check comes from them.
I can't answer that question. That's a question that's discussed in E-session.
She's not our lawyer, she's their lawyer.
Yeah, lawyer.
I had to take mandatory sexual harassment training
And we pay
online,
her salary.
and then there was a mandatory
Yep,
meeting
we pay
that I
your
had to
salary.
attend to. But it was, and I was paid for by the borough to do it. Are you telling me that the fire company made me do it, or you guys made me do it?
Everybody had to get it done.
Why?
Yeah,
Why? Well, all employees of the borough, right?
All the employees of the borough. Your employees.
Insurance company.
Did the
Whoever
volunteers have to
cuts
do
the
it?
check, they're the employee thereof.
No, they didn't. I got an email from Ed Mashevsky stating that I had to do it as an employee of the borough.
Yeah, that's right. You cut the check, you are the employee of the borough. If the borough cuts the check, that's the law. Yes.
All right, go ahead, Jeff.
Just for information purposes, we budgeted, in the preliminary budget, there's $246,000 budgeted for fire. And that's wage salaries, fire marshal salary, EMT salaries. It's got to change vehicle fuel for the gas. We pay the general liability insurance, and then we pay for a lot of the expenses for the firehouse. So this isn't just, it's EMS and fire. And we also have to rent the fire hydrants here. You rent them from Aqua, you have to pay them a monthly fee to rent the fire hydrants. Then maintenance and repairs for the building down there, and then that's pretty much, it's about 240 grand we've been paying for the last couple of years.
It's a brand new building down there, the contractor should be held liable for that.
Well,
Yes.
that's a whole
Brand
other-
new building, there
that's a
shouldn't be
whole-
no
that's a whole
problem
other
with it.
meeting, that's a whole other
But look who you had do it, so it explains it all.
But that's, there's money going there, and the way I understand it is, instead of being the firehouse will handle the payroll company, they'll pay cut the checks, and we'll just send a contribution of $80,000 a year. So it's pretty much a wash. The fire company, the EMTs were gonna pay us half of the salary, and I had the full salary benefit in here, now they're not gonna pay us, and we just give them half the salary.
Okay, but if they fold because they can't afford it,
Right.
what's gonna happen to the borough? You're gonna have to outsource fire and EMS. That's gonna cost this town a hell of a lot more than what it's costing now.
Yep.
Can I just ask a real simple question about numbers, all right? In this budget that you just published, you said that for the EMT/driver salaries, I think it was $162,000, right?
140, yeah, it's right in the ballpark.
The 142 was last year. This year, you upped it to 162.
I have 142 in here.
That was 2018.
No, this is 19.
Well, is this the new revised budget since the one you published?
Same one he gave out last week.
142.
It's not, that's not what it says on the one that's on the website right now.
Check that, it's a typo, I gotta check that.
Oh, it's a typo?
Please
No,
check.
I gotta check.
Please check.
Okay, all right, so let me ask a question. Whether you cut the amount the borough pays from 162 or 142 and cut it down to 80,000, how is that not gonna cut services up from the EMS
No, what I
squad?
was saying, they were gonna pay 50%, they're paying 50%, we're not gonna get that now.
Who said that?
That's what that was an agreement they had.
Who agreed to that?
Well, that's what I was told, I was invoicing for that amount. Okay, well, that's how, I don't negotiate that stuff, but that's what I was told.
Why didn't they pay 50% last year if there was an agreement? Did we just waste that money?
No, it's just, it was gonna be for 18.
They just told us it was for 2017, no vote, just said that.
Yeah.
They owed the money.
They did not owe the money.
I don't know what the agreement is, but I'm just saying, that's how you budget it that way.
You should resign.
I should resign when they owe the money? Yeah, okay.
I do have a copy of the letter that states.
You have the copy of the money that they owe the money?
I have a copy of the letter that states that they would cover it from April of
2017 to October.
2017 to October.
Yeah.
Of 2017?
2017,
Who
yes.
signed the letter?
April to October.
Who signed the letter?
I'll have to pull it up. I don't know.
Well, where is the letter?
Yeah.
It's probably in my email.
Well, we'll pull it up.
In your personal email or in your borough email address?
My borough email.
Pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll wait.
We'll wait.
I'm not gonna pull it up right now. I'll get you a copy if you want a copy of it.
Is there further questions on the budget?
Well, wait, if you have it in writing, if they agreed to pay 50%, that solves the whole question. And then the debate will be over.
Your pie chart that you had up on the screen there?
They're ignoring you. They're just
Well,
ignoring
yeah,
you.
so like your slide number 5, you're like $250 off. Slide number 7,
Yeah,
you're
they're all around in
$250
PowerPoint, they're around
off.
there.
Slide number 11 through 19, you're $80,000 off. Like you're,
I know that if you cut a check and you take out taxes, you are the employer.
Okay.
Some of them are combinations too.
I know, that's all. I added up all the other budget too, and it's still $300 off of the numbers. So I don't know why we pay $75,000
For what?
for your services.
Are we done doing?
I just have a question. Are you gonna keep the coverage, EMS and fire?
You have to ask the fire
Make
company
up the
that.
shortfall. if there's
Are
any.
you gonna keep it? Is the borough gonna keep the employees?
The
Or are we
fire
laid off
company.
December
The
31st?
fire
Fire company is picking you
They're
up.
not
Is
paying
the
you.
borough of Eddystone keeping the fire and EMS paid service?
The fire company is picking you up.
You won't answer the question.
Yes,
I
Yeah, are they picking up if there's a
Tell us yes
shortfall?
or no, that's all they're
The
asking.
fire company is picking you
No,
up.
they're not. No, they're not. Ask Dave Riley, he's executive board member. No, they're not.
So the fire company is.
So again, there will be no
No.
EMS service.
They had
No.
a meeting, said that?
No.
They had a meeting and said that?
They told you they were picking you up?
Yeah, there's a meeting tomorrow night, correct? Okay.
How do you think the fire department's gonna be able to?
This is shameful.
So the borough employee asked if we're getting laid off by the borough.
You're getting picked up by the fire company.
No. They said by the fire company.
They're being picked up for the fire department?
Or you
That's your problem, right?
Or you outsourcing the EMS.
You
Go
know,
ahead, hon.
So if the fire department does not pick up the guys for the paid EMS crews, and they can afford it, so we're gonna go to, which I'm considering no service at all. So we're gonna have to either be waited, till Eddystone gets tapped out, and then Woodland and Tennicum. How does the borough, compensate the other towns to pick up our, EMS service?
The borough would not have to compensate anyone. They would bill the patient and accept the.
No, wait, okay, so if, after they do that,
Am I correct on that?
After
They bill the
that-
patient, that's what they're. Yeah, that's how they do it now.
so after they bill the patient, and so you don't have to, consider it like outsourcing for like $100,000, you have to give them every year for coming into our town, taking care of your community. So that's gonna be not an
Building
issue.
rights, they get the right to bill.
Yeah, for $40 for Medicare patients, that's what they'll get. So I really think coming into our town every day or every other day.
Everybody's a Medicare patient?
Most people
A
here,
lot of
because
people here.
Delaware
Don't kid
County
yourself.
has the largest over 65 community.
And disabled, it's
And
true.
Eddystone has about 33%. I work with frickin' COSA. So therefore, the majority of your residents and your community and your voters are usually 90% over 60.
74%
They're not us young people, I think there's like 20 of us here. I think this is ridiculous. Do you think that that's gonna make money for anybody and the other neighboring towns that have their stuff together
come.
with their EMS service because there's a need for it, whether it's borough or city, whatever the hell you wanna call it, I just think it's awful. Because again, we all use 911 at one time or another. Minutes are going to count. 3 minutes per tap, and then second to ambulance, you're talking 18 to 22 minutes.
We could pay the other 80,000.
I'm sorry, my hands, I'm sorry, I'm Italian,
Leave
I'm
that
talking.
the half mil in there for the tax.
So again, so if the Eddystone Fire Department is picking up the EMS, EMTs, whatever, who is responsible for the fire department? Because I'm assuming it's not like a Vicky's or a Walmart. It's not a corporation, it is borough property and government property, right?
We own
You're
the
making a
building. We own the building. We own
Okay,
the
so
trucks.
you
That's
don't,
it.
okay, so when the paychecks get written out for borough, you guys aren't gonna do it, right?
Right, the borough
That's what I'm
checks now.
understanding. They're not employees of the borough, you're not gonna take over, you're not gonna do anything, but yet you've been doing it and then kinda trialed it. But you're saying that there's no need?
Because the thing is, we don't own the ambulance, okay? I've been saying this 1,000 times.
Okay, I know, and I hear ya, I can comprehend.
All right.
It's the fire department,
Right.
but who's the fire department?
The fire company
Fire
owns
company
owns
owns
the
the.
Okay, so you're gonna get me on my word, okay?
No, well,
Excuse
there's
me,
two different things.
sorry, fire company.
There's two different things. There's a fire department and a fire company.
Okay, so I work for the fire department, and really it's the same thing, it's still a fire company.
It's not the same
No,
thing.
it's not the
Two
same.
different
How
They're
is it
their
not-
own organization.
Just like the fire department.
The fire company is their own organization.
Please
They're not
provide me-
connected to the town.
please explain that.
Even though it says Eddystone, it's not
Okay,
connected
thank
to the
you,
town.
thank you. Okay, so the borough will not do that if the fire department says no, or the fire company, I'm sorry. Fire company says no, you guys will not have a
An
paid
ambulance.
crew, is that what we're all getting at?
Yeah.
Say, no, you can say it, because that's what we all see and hear. We need clarification. And since there's no fire company representative here for the budget meeting regarding the budget of $170,000,
See, here's what if the complaint is that you want borough to pay another $90,000
Okay, can I
to make
ask-
up the 170,
The
we
borough
can do that if we
pays-
leave the $500,000.
okay, so when I budget my stuff, right, I'm gonna, if I can't afford one bill, I'm gonna kinda steal from Peter to give to Paul. So if you pay the borough, I assume you pay your employees holiday pay. Is it 6 federal holidays It's federal, they don't get it, they don't get any.
We were
Okay.
promised 15, and then it ended up being 2.
There was no way you were gonna get 15.
I have the notes.
It was your
Karen.
proposal.
I was at the meeting, I have the notes, you called me.
That meeting was recorded.
It was
You said the county, you said
Without our knowledge,
the
it
15
wasn't.
county holidays. And you asked Andy Walsh, who was a county employee, which holidays, and there was a list. Okay, then, a couple months later, you called me when I was working. Correct?
She don't remember.
No.
She
It's
doesn't
because
remember.
they said that all borough employees were gonna have the same holidays as the county employees. That's what they agreed to in the meeting here.
Right.
Or whatever it is.
And then they did.
Yeah, we told you got 4, correct?
No, 15, you told us 15. We ended up getting paid for
First off,
2.
you're part-time employees. The part-time employees don't even get paid holidays.
Then why did you agree to it?
Karen,
Go
I
ahead,
have a
hon.
question.
Go ahead.
I need clarity. I need you to slow
Go ahead,
me
Tamara.
into the answer to 2 questions. So at the end of the year, if the fire company does not pick up the paid first responders, will we still have EMS, EMT services full-time? And then secondly, was did the fire company ever ask to, pick up 40%, show 40% of your billing, or no?
Pick up 40% of the billing.
Yeah.
Of our billing?
Did the ambulance ever come back? Did the fire department ever come back and ask you if they would give you 40% of the billing? If you kept the EMS?
Right.
They-
these guys.
Since
They
we
might
make so
have-
much
they-
money, 40% should cover $80,000.
The problem is, we don't know what 40% of what.
40% of what? That was our
Of the
question.
billing.
Get-
What's the
Of
billing?
Well, what's
amount?
the billing, Dave? We don't have any numbers.
We don't know
What's the
numbers.
billing?
Go get it.
You told us we could run
We
it.
bill at
Did
1100,
someone say
we
that
only
they
get
did
around
come back? Because
135.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we don't know
You
that.
shut us right there.
Get it.
We don't know that.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
We don't know that.
We didn't
Yes.
shut them down. That was last week.
That was last meeting, and you shut us down and said you guys are laid off. We don't want anything to do with EMS.
Okay,
That
so
was
can I
your
get a
response.
bottom line answer though to my question? Because I
I'm
remember
sorry.
last,
Go ahead.
last December, I had to call 911 for the first time ever. Tended combust really tapped. And so my concern is this, God forbid, knocking all the wood here. If the fire company does not pick up these paid bonds, what happens? Will we have any paid first
You
responders?
had Tinicum
If there's
bus
any
you?
people.
Tinicum
that
does all the
volunteer
buses.
No, you had
to
Tinicum take you to the hospital?
Yes.
That's the exact same thing would happen
Really
again.
tapped.
That's
So
the
we're
exact
gonna-
same thing would
That's
happen again.
basically what it is. They want Telecom to pick up the bills, pick up the patients.
So it's gonna be 9-minute drive from Tenacum Firehouse.
Deep-having and everything, a young woman.
If
Why
they,
not keep the EMS and ask the fire department for 40% of their billing? What they suggested to you.
Is that the agreement? Then they should get it. And you should have to show the records so that we can get it. If that's the agreement, then they have to show you.
We don't want that. We don't.
Yes, they do. If you have a percentage
Accountability?
amount, if you
Did I
have
hear
a
accountability?
percentage amount, you have to be able to see the books to get the percentage amount.
Okay.
An argument with me.
Well,
I agree
let's
with you 100%. I'd love to see the books.
But
I'd love to have it all.
No, don't play that game.
Love
You
to
can
see your
see them if
books.
you wanted to.
we
This has
can't.
nothing to do
We're not allowed.
with the budget, and you know it, Karen. You know
You
it.
absolutely-
It has nothing to do with the budget.
It does have to do with the
It has
budget.
nothing, then why'd you put it in the budget? Should just
Why
cut
did we
us.
put what in the budget?
Has
Why did you
nothing.
$162,000.
You know it.
Make a
$80,000.
motion,
What was the
Go ahead.
deficit? What's the deficit you have?
Yeah.
Call
turn
order.
the meeting.
Huh?
I'd like to make a motion, Madam President, to turn the meeting.
That's right, that's it. Just cut it out.
Boom.
Answer any questions. Just cut it out in the
The
middle.
residents of this borough get screwed.
Wait, before
Yeah, you know what? You're all gonna get voted
You know
out.
it, and I know it.
What are you talking about, Ed? What does it have to do?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah,
the
you know exactly what it has to do.
$60,000 for the
You know
house you
exactly what it
bought?
has
I
to do
have
with.
no clue.
Where's the $60,000 for the house you
Where's
bought?
your check come from?
Where's who come from? My check?
Yeah,
Where does my
has
check?
nothing to do with the budget.
Which check? My
Like I said,
No.
if it's a matter of the fire company needs more money, we just leave the $500,000 in there and you can get the other $90,000.
So
It's that easy,
basically,
isn't it? You got all the.
Everybody's taxes go up and then you get your we'll be able to give them an extra more money if you're worried about the fire company.
That's just
So
a.
basically-
You're not worried about it? You're not worried about it?
it's safety. Can I just say
I'm
something?
not worried about it.
Basically,
I have faith in the fire company to be able to do what they're supposed to do.
You're basically
Oh yeah,
trying to
there was a
protect
building
your
fire in town today. How many volunteers were there? The truck wouldn't have hit the street without the paid guys. Okay? Okay? It wouldn't have
Shame
hit the
on
street
you.
without the paid
Shame on all
guys.
of you.
And you're not gonna have it
That's
anymore.
right, shame on all
Volunteer
of
fire
you.
company, why do they call it volunteer? If there's a problem with volunteer.
You've had
should be
paid
arrested.
personnel
Shame.
since the 50s. You've had paid personnel since the 50s.
How many
Shows how much you know.
Shame on all of you.
How many volunteer fire calls have you been on?
None.
Then shake mouth.
Yeah, really, new on the council, no council, shut up.
There's a motion on the table to adjourn the meeting. I did not second it, but if we're gonna scream, I will second it. I would like to give you guys a choice to voice your concerns. But if there's gonna be a screaming match and a personal match, it can't be like that. So please.
But then
You're not
answer.
answering.
Answer, that's right, just answer, and then it won't be a scream, just
I'm
answer.
not affiliated with the fire department in any way. I'm not affiliated with the council. I'm just a taxpayer who has a heart condition and is worried that if I have a heart attack, no one's gonna show up for me in time.
In time.
So
In time.
basically, what can be done to save the EMS?
Can I-
You're saying that
Okay, let me explain
raise the
something.
taxes by half a
Whatever
mil.
you do not have a heart attack at 11:30 tonight. You know why?
Why?
Because
you
no
don't
matter
pay
what,
for
you're not gonna get an Eddystone
Because you
ambulance.
don't pay for service. You do
right.
not pay for service
Eddystone
24
ambulance.
hours.
Horrible for you to say that.
Anyway,
That's a horrible thing for you
I'm
to
saying to you,
say.
you're not gonna get an Eddystone ambulance.
Listen, be quiet, we're doing the council, be quiet.
You appointed him? You
basically,
appointed this guy?
what can be
Absolutely
done?
disgusting.
Yeah.
What can be done to save the service? In fact, I would like to see it increase to 24 hours, but I know that's low.
If we raise the taxes,
What
then
can-
everybody pays about $450 per household.
Okay, what about this, what was the trash, the $81?
$85.
That
$85.
does nothing for you. I said it's about $450 per
Okay, but it's
household.
$85. If everybody, if every house on top pay $85,
That can only be used for
That can only be
trash.
used for
Whether,
Right,
whether
but
you
then
call it a tax or you're still paying for trash.
but whatever you
We've always
collect in
paid for trash.
$85, you could take from the trash collection and move to the EMT.
We have
I
always
said
paid
that.
for
We can leave the
trash.
$500,000 there.
In our
and that'll give you
taxes, we
another
paid,
$80,000.
excuse me,
I'm fine with that.
excuse me, Karen, you just said that we never paid for trash and that I don't pay for trash. My salary, my taxes pay the salaries of the people who man the trash trucks and pay for the trucks. We have always paid for trash in this town. There's never been a time when we didn't. You just mask it. That's not what you said. You said I had never paid for
Why not
trash.
accept your 40% billing from the EMS?
Well, here's the problem with the billing from the EMS. First off, we don't know what the billing
Exactly.
is.
Then why are you trying to tell the fire department they could come up with $80,000?
You're a life
We're
member of the
giving
fire
you
company.
80,000.
You can come to a meeting and see it. It's all black and white. Every single meeting, every single line is written out. If I spend $5 on this pen, it's written out on, Paul Stein will read it out online. Come to the meeting. You're a life member. You're on the board.
You keep telling us that we're going to pick it up, but
You're
you have no report.
Yeah, show
You
up
have no
and find
idea.
out.
Well, you're getting, what we talked to, we asked them to give us the billing.
The mayor's
You
the
give us the billing.
secretary.
We're not, we don't give them our numbers. You're a member. You can come and see our
The mayor's the
numbers.
secretary of the fire company.
Do you know what an
He
ambulance
writes up the
costs?
bills.
Do you know how much an ambulance costs?
The mayor's the secretary of the
So every
fire.
10 years, we gotta buy a new ambulance.
400,000.
No,
300.
$150,000 to $200,000.
All right.
The mayor's the secretary
We
of
buy
the fire
that.
department. He's claiming
We
he
supply
doesn't
that.
know how much they make.
So we
Yep,
can.
that's exactly it. It's all bullshit. It's what this all is. It's just a shell game.
Continue to give you 40% of the billing.
You can't decide on fire.
But how do we know what 40% of the billing is? After, they said after expenses. So you
Go
get your
look
expenses.
at the books. Make
You
it
could
a
have, say,
condition
$5,000.
of
You're gonna
giving
give us
them money.
40% after the billing, we're liable to get $2,000.
We're gonna go under if you don't do it.
Make it a condition of giving them the money that you can see the books.
If you give them enough for one shift, which is what I think the $80,000 amounts
For
to.
2 people from 7 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon.
Okay, that means that some other place, Tinicum or somebody else, is gonna have to come in here every evening and every overnight shift. And they're not gonna do that for free.
Or the fire company can make up the difference, find the funds to make up the difference.
Oh my goodness.
There's no reason how you give them money that you cannot see their books. I know that for a fact. There's no way that you give a fire company or somebody money that you do not have the ability to, when it's a percentage that they're supposed to give back to you, that you cannot audit the books to make sure you're getting your percentage back. That is just simple auditing. I mean, that is just You could do that. There's no reason why you can't say you don't know how much they
It's
get.
a donation, it's not a tax, it's not a tax, it's a donation.
Well, it's all gonna be a donation.
That's a donation from the borough, that's not a line item from a tax.
It's in the budget.
So I don't know how you can
Still
audit.
same thing.
Again, why not work
It does
with the
come out of
fire
your
department?
taxes.
Yeah, but if the borough gives it, they can demand that.
Yes, we are.
Last meeting, I was told you cut us off and told us.
Where were you last meeting?
I was sick. I'm sorry. I
Okay,
was sick.
okay, because you would have seen the whole thing, the whole.
Yeah, I was
You would've been here for
called
the
right
whole
after
discussion.
and was told that couldn't propose what we wanted to.
Just
You
like the
cut us
letter
off.
misinformed.
We did ask for ideas and suggestions.
Yeah, we
I
asked.
gave you them, I said take over EMS, and you said no, we wanna cut all ties.
We want out of the business.
Invest in us, don't get
We
rid of
want out of
us.
the business.
Yeah.
Why do you want out of the business?
What borough, in
Invest.
any
Invest.
borough or township in Delaware County runs the EMS?
Doesn't matter who else does
Yeah,
it.
a lot of them.
Which?
doesn't
I'm
matter.
asking you which.
It doesn't matter. You just make the decision to do it. It doesn't matter what other people
Which
do.
ones do it?
It doesn't matter who
Which
else
borough
does it.
actually pays for their EMS?
Newtown Township,
Swampport.
Down Township, okay.
$625,000 a year.
How much?
$625,000 a year.
Okay, they're a township.
And how many residents do they have in their
Yeah, how
township?
much residents do they
How many
have?
residents are in their township?
I don't know, I'm just telling you.
Is there more than 2,400?
I'm just saying, man.
All these other.
What's that matter?
What I'm trying to tell you is, Eddystone is.
It matters is because you only have 2,400 people to divide the
So
amount
who's
of tax
important
money
then?
that
So
to
Newtown
divide
So they're
that.
not
Township.
important for 2,400 just because we have 2,400 people?
Yeah,
We're
it's
not
a
that
small
important?
town.
No, it's not them, I never said that.
But that's what you
Don't put words in my mouth. I
insinuated.
never said that. I said there's not enough money, tax money.
So if I had to, pay extra to live here, to keep the guys, I would, because guess what? I needed 911 quite a few times.
I've needed it.
And they've been there.
Yep.
I didn't have to wait. I would do that. So maybe, budget guy, you should figure out how much it would actually be.
He just
Take
said
for the
400.
borough to keep it.
You just said 450?
$450.
24/7, 24/7, to keep it fully
Yeah, but that means
staffed.
they can't go work their other jobs. They gotta be on
Yeah,
our
you're
job.
right.
So, $1 million a year. If you figure that out into your mills,
Right
okay?
now, you said it's only
I thought it was
$170,000 because we cover 2 shifts. And that 2 shifts is not 100% covered, even though it costs us that. So we covered half the
They
time.
went 24/7.
You're saying that
They went
you
24/7.
and they don't show up.
You cover 16 hours
I
right
don't
now.
understand, if you
Oh,
say
so
you're
where's the other money
paying
go?
You don't. He
2
don't.
employees for 2 shifts a day, you're saying that they're not coming in, but they're still
Yeah.
getting paid?
Why are you paying
Yeah,
them?
they go to their
They're not
other
getting
jobs.
paid.
They're not getting paid, they don't come in.
Well,
But
then
they're
it can't
scratching
be
because you have to have
100%.
two people on a
Oh,
call.
it is, because that's what it, that's what the
They
numbers
should
come
So you
not
have
be
to
able
put them
to
in and
call
say they're
out
gonna
and
work.
not
Now,
have
if
somebody
you
cover their
come in-
shift.
If you're at your job, you say, okay, I'm gonna work today, I'm gonna work this day, and you commit to that day, and something else comes up and you don't show up,
You get somebody else.
How many
What is it?
people
We
are
fill in
actually
jobs
paid
all the
at fire
time.
department?
how many people are actually
Yeah, how
paid?
many actually paid?
12,
Nine,
12,
10.
9.
Then get somebody else to come in for that shift.
Guys.
How many of you guys are,
Right now,
Yeah.
probably
Higher.
6,
so you had 6 people trying to fill a schedule and they're all full-time?
You added,
why
not
not-
you, we asked for the second shift, okay? They hired 3 people. Nick Torres, Anthony Cox, and Waltz. Torres got a full-time job now. Anthony Cox quit. And
Hire somebody else.
Waltz quit also.
Oh,
So you need to replace the people.
That's right.
Mr. Pacente, for 24-hour coverage, is it close to $500,000?
No, I don't know what that number is.
Okay, I don't know where the number came from either. Somebody-
Let's figure it out.
Well, you gotta remember something, it's not just your pay. okay? It's not just the pay, it's also the electric, it's also,
Oh, yeah, that's gonna break the bank.
it's everything, utilities, it's insurance, it's everything. It's just not just add an extra couple hours of pay. Workman's comp, managing social security, Medicare, it all adds up.
Those are the things you pay when you have employees,
All right, what
right?
we'll
That's
do,
right.
we'll put together a subcommittee of me, Mr. Pacenti, and two members from council.
How about
See if we can
some
work this
people
out.
from the EMS and the fire
We
department?
will,
She's
we
not
will.
done.
Karen,
She's not done.
I'm not done, and we'll include two members from the EMS.
Ma'am, while the subcommittee is doing its work studying this, will these gentlemen still have their jobs?
Till the end of the year. Then they're gonna go work, then they'll go work for the.
So that means
So
we
what is
have,
their employees?
They'll go work.
What's the point of the subcommittee?
Yeah, how many will you meet over the
We
holidays?
have a month, Dave.
It's a holidays, how much you plan on
Changing
meeting?
that month. You're telling them they're done at the end of the year, but now you're saying you're gonna put a subcommittee together.
We'll put a subcommittee together and we can discuss it. We already have it pretty much ironed out with the fire company.
You don't.
You don't understand.
That's a representative from the fire company right there.
That's the thing, you don't.
I know that details are being worked out because I've spoken to a couple of the fire company members.
There's nothing in
Who?
the past.
Who
If we
did you
report it,
talk
but
to
nothing's
that gave you
ironed
these
out.
insurances? Names, people, their employees, who?
Ma'am, if the fire company cannot financially support the burden of taking on these 2 shifts, what will happen to these guys then?
They won't have to take on 2 shifts. They will have to take on, we are going to cover 1 shift from 7 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, 7 days a week.
You didn't answer his question, you danced around it.
Yeah.
If they cannot get this business that you're telling them to start and run in 1 month up by December 31st,
She talked to.
will there be a lapse in coverage or will you continue coverage?
I believe we could lapse the coverage.
Oh, you lapse the
Yeah,
EMS coverage and you go to volunteer.
People
For a
can
certain
die
amount
in
of time.
between the laps.
How long's a certain amount of time?
We will continue it. Council would have to sit and discuss that.
In which,
That's not gonna be
the fire company
determined.
needs to change the charter also, because they're still their 501c3, so they're gonna have to change their charter to be able to pay people. So it's gonna be a little bit more time to that. I looked into that because I'm on the board of another ambulance company somewhere else, and we had to do some things to actually pay people. So the fire company can't just pay people and take taxes out, because then it'd be a profit.
Well, how do they pay people now when the volunteers go out and they get the $25 for the driver and $50 for the EMT?
I don't know.
When's the last time that happened?
There's only 3 EMTs that live in town. I live across the street, physically 538 feet from the firehouse, and if I had a driver, I would live there. But I don't have a driver. If anybody would like to come drive the ambulance and is qualified, please come up, and I'll get the ambulance out. But I can't do that with only 1 person. That's why we need to pay it staff.
That's right.
Whether I work there or not, I don't really care. But I care about when my house burns down or something like that. When you say you don't care, like that, I don't understand that. No, you can't say. You say I don't care. You don't say I don't care. Anyway, I live here, born and raised. I'm part of the Rock. I don't care either way, but I don't. Whether you fire me, I don't care. I just need paid staff somewhere, because otherwise, what's going to happen to my house? Have you seen my house? It's 135 years old. 137 years old. I'm one of the oldest houses here.
143 years old, same thing.
If not, can you buy me some hose? Because I'll put my own fire out.
Yeah.
Because waiting 10 minutes for a technician to come down the street, if a train's not there. You know what happens if a train's there?
Yep.
You now added 17 minutes to the response time.
death. That's what that means. I've been employee out fire here in town, and
I've held a lot
guess
of
what?
hands in
It's
this
not
town.
fun. And minutes count.
Held a lot of
Minutes
hands in
count.
this
Seconds count. So I really
why not work
think,
with us?
work with somebody and give us something. Because guess what? This little bickering that everybody does
When will the
isn't very
subcommittee
becoming
meet?
just meeting you at all.
Will it meet more than one time before the?
We just mentioned it, okay? You have to get-
Okay, but it's like they're ending it January 1st. I mean, you gotta have some meetings in before then.
I agree.
Right,
I agree. We just said it.
So we will.
Karen, isn't there another meeting Monday?
Yes, there is another meeting Monday, Danielle. Budget meeting.
Yes.
And,
We'll be here.
Yeah.
and the following week is, the 10th is the, regular meeting.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Meeting adjourned.